Hey guys, PV here from the Home Automation Project. Today I'm going to talk about NFC tags. So what are NFC tags? These are small chips which can store a very limited quantity of data in them, and you can use your phone to touch on them and execute an automation off the back of it. You can set it up with your home assistant instance at home, and you can run some smart home routines such as opening a lock or switching on a light or some other combination of routines that you want. So why are we talking about NFC tags today? I feel this is a very simple and cheap option to set up a shared secure automation in your household. As an example, I have a hidden NFC tag near my door where I have a smart lock, and I have programmed both my and my wife's phone to scan. When we scan this tag, it opens the smart lock. You do have to take some preventive security measures so that it doesn't become insecure. As an example, the limitation that I have is you can only do it if your phone is in the home local network. And you can put more checks and balances, such as you can check for whether the certain person is present within the house, whether the alarm is already off within your house, and those kind of things. But overall, I feel that they're a pretty handy tool to set up some secured shared automations within the household, and which kind of works in a very handy manner, because you almost always have your phone along with you, so it is very easy to just tap it and scan and execute an automation. Another example of a useful automation is if you have an automatic garage door. I have this in my car, for example, and as soon as I reach near my home, I scan my phone on this tag and it opens the garage door. I'm sure you can find way more uses of this once you put this in your ecosystem. Let us go through with this video, and in this video I'm going to show you how to set this up, both if you have an Android phone or if you have an iPhone, and how to use it seamlessly with your home assistant setup. So without further ado, let's get started. So in this automation, I'm going to show you how to use NFC tags to set up automations in Home Assistant. There are a few ways in which you can do it. The simplest and easiest way is to install the Home Assistant app on your mobile, as you can see here. And once you have the app installed, you can go to settings and then go to tags. And in the screen, you have this option to add tag. Click on add tag and then give it a name. Let's say just NFC. X. And you can leave the tag ID blank. It is auto assigned by the system. Next, click on create and write. Make sure the NFC is switched on your phone when you do this. And now if you scan the NFC NFC tag, then it should write the data into the tag. Do make sure that you don't have any data previously which you need, because that will get overwritten. So let's scan the tag, and as you can see, the scan has been successful and the tag has been saved within Home Assistant. You can go ahead and set up some settings of this tag if you want later, so such as you can change the name of the tag from here, or you can also set up a QR code against this tag to trigger this automation. The other option that I'm going to share is to set up the automation. So you can click on this automation button and it takes you to the automation screen where the trigger is already preloaded. It says when a tag is scanned, and it has already picked up the ID of the tag that we just created. And you can then specify your conditions and actions as usual. So what I will do here is I will add an action of toggling the lamp that is on my desk, and I'll choose a device as a lamp in my office, and then let's save. And this is suggested a default name. I'm going to keep it and hit rename. So as simple as that, your automation is created. So let's test it out. I'm going to scan the NFC tag and see if it toggles the lamp or not. So here goes. There you go. So the scan has I scanned the NFC tag and it triggered the automation. Let me scan it again, and the lamp has switched off. So as you can see, it's pretty quick and easy to set up this automation using the Home Assistant app. Okay, now that we have seen the easy way to do it, I want to show you a different way to do this, and there are a few disadvantages of this the simpler option that we explored, and there are a few advantages of the other option that I'm going to show you now. Disadvantage of this first method is that the automation is tied to the ID of the NFC tag, which means if you want multiple NFC tags to share a common automation, you will have to duplicate this routine with each of the NFC tags. But in the method that I'm going to show you, you can configure multiple NFC tags to call the same routine, and the method that I'm going to show you is using something called a webhook. But one thing you have to bear in mind in this method, you have to be more cautious about the security aspect of it, so that you don't allow anyone from the outside your network to invoke that webhook. You would have to keep it safe, like a password, as well as you have to take precautions that somebody who is invoking the method should be either a approved or valid user of your Home Assistant instance, or should be connected on the local home network. I prefer the latter. To set up the second method, go to settings, go to automations and scenes, and then click on create automation, create new automation. Then in trigger, search for webhook. Yeah, there you go. Select the webhook, and it automatically generates a unique ID for the hook. And the way this works is, if you copy this ID, it gives a unique link to this specific webhook, and then you can set up NFC using a third-party NFC reader tool such as NFC Tools, which I use for my mobile. You can set up NFC tag scan to run call this webhook from the mobile, and that provided the two are on the same network, then it should trigger the automation. A few things to note here. I have set same network because my assumption is that for security purposes you wouldn't be exposing your webhook to the outside world, and there's a way you can do that. So here you can go to settings and you can say only accessible from the local network. I think this is a very important point to keep a note of, because if you open it up to the wide world, then it is also open to hacking options, so you need to be careful. I feel this is a good option because most of my NFC tag based automation are in close proximity to my house. For example, I have an NFC tag in the garage which I can use to close the garage. I have an NFC tag near the hidden near the main door where I can use it to trigger opening of the smart lock and such scenarios. The other option that you need to set here is click on this get option and remove the post input, because in this scenario we're just simply going to make a call to this webhook. We are not going to pass any parameters, so we don't need them. So remember to update these two settings here. Another thing to remember is that NFC is a pretty secure way actually to run automation, because the setup that we are going to do is going to sit inside your phone, which is considered pretty secure, and hence you can probably use it for the automations that I mentioned, where you open or close important doors, because it's safer, at least safer than any kind of, let's say, voice activated command, etc. So once you have that, I will go and add the action as the same action that I just so I'll just select the same select my lamp as device to toggle, and once I have set this up, I'll just hit save, and let me name it as NFC from, let's say, webhook. Okay, obviously you would give it a more descriptive name like toggle office NFC, toggle office lamp using NFC, and just giving it for the purpose of this video. Okay, now that we have this automation set up, next steps we need to do in the phone. So let's head over to the phone. Okay, now I'm in my phone and I'm back in my settings and automations and scenes page, and let me search for the automation I just created, NFC from webhook. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to open this section where it has the webhook ID, and there's this copy button, small copy button. Let's click on this to copy the path. Remember, this is going to be local path, and it is going to show the IP address of your local. It is generally going to be in the format of HTTP or HTTPS : your IP address of your local Home Assistant instance with port 8123, and then this unique ID, which you can use to trigger the automation. So once we have copied this, next we need to write this URL into the NFC tag. Now that we have copied the URL from the automation page, you need to write this into the NFC tag using a third-party tool. In iPhone, you can use the shortcuts option to create the shortcut and assign it to the NFC tag. But in Android, we have to use a tool like something like NFC tool. If you go here, you have got this write option. Under this, click add record, and then you can use this option of URL URI, and in the text box you can paste the link that we copied. The other option, if you have the Pro version, you can go to task, add a task. Under this, go to networks, and then go down to this HTTP get option, and you can select this option. The difference between the two is that this HTTP get option triggers the NFC read silently, whereas this other option, which is done for the free app, under write and record URL URI, it is going to try and launch a web page every time you scan the NFC tag, which can be a bit irritating. However, it's not the end of the world. So for the purpose of my automation, I'm going to use the Pro option of adding a task under network, and then go down and hit HTTP get, and then I'm going to paste it directly on my phone like so. Let me show you that I have actually pasted the URL that I copied. Hopefully I can focus this correctly. Yeah, and then I'm going to hit OK. Yeah, and this is now ready to write into the tag. So I'm going to hit this option here which says write to write it into the NFC tag. So let's click on this and let's bring it over the NFC tag. Yeah, as you can see, it says the write is completed, and now our tag is ready to invoke this automation in our Home Assistant. So let's give it a try. Now if we read the tag, we scan the tag, NFC tag, it should ideally toggle this lamp on my desk. So let's give it a try. Let me scan this. There we go. And as you can see, the light has switched on. Let's try this again. And the light has switched off. Now that we have explored the method to set up this automation in Android phones, let's go and see how we can do the same in iPhone. So to set up the similar automation in your iPhone, it is a bit easier. You can use the default shortcuts app to trigger an event when an NFC tag is read, and this event can be then used for triggering an automation in Home Assistant. So the first thing, you need to go and search for the shortcuts app, and then when you open the app, there will be 3 tabs at the bottom of the app. Click on the tab which says automations, and then click on create personal automation. Then scroll down to the option which says NFC. Click on that, and then click on scan. Then scan the NFC tag. Once you have scanned it, give it a meaningful name so that you can remember which tag it is. So let me name this tag as office underscore tag. Okay, and then hit next. Then click on add action, and then search for the action called fire event under Home Assistant. Here I'm assuming that you already have your Home Assistant installed on this iPhone. If not, you will need to do that first. And then click on fire event. Then where it says by default the name says shortcut underscore event, tap on that and then change the name. This is the name of the event that will appear in Home Assistant, so it needs to be unique enough so that you can run an automation off the back of it. I'll name this as office underscore NFC underscore tag, try and keep all the letters in lowercase, and do not use any space in the name. Rather, you can use a separator like I have used underscore here. And then there's a small arrow next to this data. Click on that arrow and you will see there's an option to choose a server. This may or may not appear in your case, and I'm not sure if it is showing up because I've got multiple Home Assistant servers in my home. But if it does, check this option, click on choose and then click on the server name, and the option to show when run, you can leave it off and then hit next. And the option at the bottom, there's an option says ask before running. I tend to switch that off because it is pretty irritating. It's pretty annoying for it to ask every time we scan the tag. So once I have switched that off, hit done. So that's pretty much it. Your setup on the phone is done. Now let's go and set up the automation in our Home Assistant to capture this event. Okay, so now I'm back in the automation that we used for our initial Android one, and now we need to modify the trigger here, so we can't use the webhook payload for this one. So instead of that, I'm going to disable this option, and instead I'm going to add a new trigger for the event that we defined in the Shortcuts app, and the event type is going to be office underscore NFC underscore tag. That is the, let me spell it correctly. So that is the name of the event that we gave in our Shortcuts app. And then we have the option to select a specific user to run this, who can only run this event, or we can leave it blank for any user. I'm going to leave it blank, but it is a good security option that you can apply if you need to. And that should be it. We already have the action defined. So let's hit save. And now it is going to toggle the lamp that I have here. So let's scan the tag and let's see if that triggers the automation and toggles on the lamp. Yeah, so it triggered the automation and toggled the lamp. Let's scan it again. Yeah, so there it triggered and switched off the lamp. So that's a pretty simple setup in iPhone. So that's it for this video. Thanks for sticking around, and I will see you in the next one. So that will be all for today's video. Hope you enjoyed it. Do keep in mind some of the security precautions that I mentioned in this video, such as keeping the access restricted to your local home network and not making the links public and so on. In my future videos, I'm going to talk more about the aspects of security in your smart home network, such as keeping a separate IoT network for your home security devices, segregating of LAN level access within the home network, and other such cool stuff. So do check out my channel from time to time. So till then stay safe and stay connected.